Hey, welcome back to another video, guys, and today I'm going to be talking about Thanos and Monstercat. Now hear me out, alright? I know it's a bit of a stretch, but hear me out, okay? At the beginning of 2018, you want to know what happened? Monstercat split into Uncaged and Instinct. They ended up releasing more music, each sub-label bringing in about 2 more songs per week, or 1 more song per week, I suppose. And then at the middle of the year, you know what ended up happening? The Thanos movie came out and snapped half the universe out of existence, alright? Monstercat snapped the label in half, and then Thanos came, alright? Thanos is Monstercat. You want more proof? Look at this artwork, alright? Look at this artwork. It's Evil Cat, alright? Evil Cat is here holding the Infinity Gauntlet. Must I say more? Now, you might be wondering why exactly I'm bringing this up. Like, what does this have to do with anything I'm talking about? That's because today, I wanted to talk about how Monstercat is dying. Remember the good old days? You guys don't remember? I'm talking about like 001 and 002. That dubstep was awesome. So yesterday I talked about the buzzword of dying and how people like to claim that everything is dying. Fortnite's dying, Mashup is dying, you know, anything is dying. The reason I wanted to bring up Monstercat was because I've seen a lot of discussion about how Monstercat is dying. And I will admit that there are some truths, but as always, there is always a second side to this, alright? We have the Thanos saved side, and we have the Thanos is dead side, alright? Today, we're going to be talking about both sides, and we're going to start off with the Thanos dead side. So let's start off with the irrefutable evidence, alright? We look at all of the social media pages. We're talking about Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, Mixer, Facebook, and, you know, Spotify, alright? All of these pages seem to have downward trends, alright? Or at least trends that show that Monstercat isn't doing as well or is doing worse. Let's start it with YouTube, okay? YouTube obviously has not been doing as well as it was, say, 3-4 years ago. While the Uncaged channel is still bringing in about 24 million views per month and is gaining about 37 or so thousand subscribers per month, we look at the historical evidence and they are not doing nearly as good as in 2016. Remember 2016? That was the marshmallow year. Everyone was saying 2014 was a lot better, and nowadays it feels like everyone's saying 2016 was a lot better. Which, saying that 2016 is better is, there's some truth to that, obviously. Looking at the trend, views have been going down, subs have been going down. Ever since the split, it has continued to go down, but at least that has had more of a correlation. A lot of people have been moving over to Instinct, and as such, a lot of the views kind of have been split. Looking towards Instinct, there has been a massive increase, alright? That being the fact that it was a 0 subscriber channel and so many people moving over from a large platform. There's a lot of people to help it boost up. So many great songs, a lot of big names like Adam Young, and then we have Crab Rave blowing up. All of this has allowed Instinct to thrive amazingly well. Crab Rave, in a sense, saved the split. And when you compare the numbers of Instinct to Uncaged, the YouTube channels, in views they're doing 1/3 of what Uncaged does, and in subscribers they're almost pretty much on par. Looking at this month, it's the second best month they had with subscribers and the biggest month they had with views, racking in about 7 million views. Let's go on over to their Twitter, and looking at their Twitter stats, they're kind of all over the place. When we look at the stats, there's never really been a month or time when they were doing exceptionally well. The number of tweets that they tweet out kind of is irrelevant, I would say, to the number of subscribers they have, because seeing that the one month they had the most amount of tweets, they didn't have the most amount of subscribers. Back in 2016, they were getting about 3,000 followers. Along the path, it kind of just hasn't seemed to increase. We did have a massive drop. I don't know if that might have been a bot removal, and the same thing happened again this month. However, I would say that it's maybe not a bot removal considering the number of daily followers that are falling off. I don't know if Facebook is a reliable statistic, but it's always been downhill. But at the same time, when you look at the statistics, they only show statistics for the past 4 days, and it's got an A- grade, so you can make your own conclusion from that. Looking over to Mixer, it's only gone up, so I can't say much about that. Going over to their Twitch, however, there's a lot more data to be compiled. Along with the social-based statistics that I also have a site that has actually compiled all of the days that Monstercat has streamed and all of the peak viewers. And considering that Monstercat's basically streaming 24/7, we have a pretty good look at the peak viewership over the course of the past 2 years. First couple of months or so, they were peaking about 2,000 views every single Thursday and about 1,000 views any other day of the week. Nowadays, they're doing half that. I can't say this is Monstercat's fault for, I guess, becoming bad, because Call of the Wild is rather repetitive and isn't really that interesting to come day after day. The only gimmick that Call of the Wild has is to preview IDs and, you know, basically a 1-hour radio show. I'm not sure if this is a very reliable statistic to see how many subscribers Monstercat has, but while it does seem to have a bit of a downward trend, we do see some spikes as of recently, one in September of 2018 and one of December of 2018. I know there was a massive gift subbing plot going on with Monstercat gifting a ton of subscribers. If you guys don't remember, there was like a Call of the Wild where they basically gifted like hundreds of subscribers between different moderators and different staff members. So that might be what pushed the spike. There was also the whole $1 resub that was going on. So it could very well be that the only reason there's been such an increase of subscribers is because it's become a lot more affordable for people. So while Twitch isn't as big as it was 2 years ago, I don't find it to be quite as indicative of a downfall as much as, say, their YouTube. Their Instagram seems to be completely fine. I don't really have much to say on this. They're slowly increasing as time goes on, but I'm going to bring it back to the YouTube, because obviously as YouTube is their biggest social media site, that's where all the eyes go to. When you look back to older videos, I can recall a time where most videos consistently reached a very high number of views upon upload and over the course of the month preceding. When I look at the uploads nowadays, I can't help but feel that there is a rather large inconsistency, whether it be the artist that joins or even just happens to be, you know, the day or the luckiness of how the algorithm pushes a song. A week ago, Slumberjack and Troy Boy released Solid, which only has about 82,000 subscribers, which I would say for a 7 million plus channel, that's not really that great. But then we look towards Infected Mushroom and Bliss and their upload of Bliss on Mushrooms, and it has more than 500,000 views. The upload before that, Riot Overkill, almost got 500,000 views. Even before that, AU5 and Nitrix, Only in a Dream, has more than 500,000 views. But I think what tends to happen with a lot of people is they see these very recent videos and they see these low numbers, and all they can think of is that that's, you know, really bad numbers. Over time, however, these views do start to add up. If we scroll down to maybe a month, 2, 3, 4, 5 months ago, you can see a lot of the views really do start to stack up. I do think to a degree, maybe the number of views that they receive upon launch is not that great. But then over time, most of these videos do seem to stack up pretty well. Obviously, a lot of people returning, and a lot of these songs do gain popularity, usually at shows. Dracary's almost at 1 million views. Time Goes By, more than 1 million views. I personally thought that Solji was like one of the, you know, forgotten songs of 2018. But I look at Solji, he has more than 500,000 views. Granted, it's more than 7 months since then, but I mean, that's still quite a number of views. The entire Rocket League soundtrack has more than 1 million views, almost, except for New Horizon by Protostar. So YouTube is a mixed bag. But as we all know, Monstercat is a lot more than just YouTube. Now, we've been talking a lot about their socials, but we haven't been talking about a couple things. Number one is their Spotify, and number two is all the partnerships that they've done throughout the course of this year and maybe even the year before. Let's talk about their Spotify first. At the beginning of this year, Darlington put a poll on his Twitter where he asked people to simply say, where do they listen to their music from? Out of the different options that he had listed, Spotify was number one. That's the thing, a lot of people have begun to move away from YouTube when it comes to listening to music. There are so many different places and outlets to listen to music now that a lot of the metrics that we used to consider with YouTube don't really apply to the success of Monstercat anymore. You can debate the success of the Monstercat YouTube channel, that's definitely been failing. You can debate the success of Instinct. You can debate the success of, you know, individual slots or individual parts of the Monstercat company as a whole. But when you say that Monstercat is dying, I cannot say that as a whole, that can't really be seen as the case. Referencing a couple different articles, I know that Monstercat this year has been in a number of Forbes articles. One with, you know, when the collaboration with Rocket League happened. Another one for the, I think it was like 30 under 30, which is like the best, you know, youngest influencers and youngest, you know, businessmen. We had Mike and Ari as the co-founders of Monstercat. In it, Forbes references that the dance label was founded in 2012 and has grown to 45 employees with a net worth or net growth of $10 million in annual revenues. When you look at the YouTube channel, I do not see a channel that gets 10 million in net revenue. Barely PewDiePie makes that. But with the merch sales, with the stream sales, because they get tons of streams. In another article by Billboard, they reference that the independent label has earned 1.5 billion total streams across its catalog this year alone. It's very obvious that it wasn't each individual stream with an individual person. Otherwise, we could say that more than a seventh of the entire world population listened to Monstercat. But 1.5 billion streams, that's a lot. Now, a good chunk of it was probably from Marshmello alone. I mean, that metric was completely surpassed back in 2016 with the music video. But if we're talking 2018 solely, that is a pretty big number and a pretty profitable number. One of the things I wanted to include was that they said that it excludes its gains on Chinese DSPs like NetEase and Tencent. Do you guys remember what happened in around August, July of this year? There was the Puppet EP re-release with the Iobon exclusive remix. I would imagine that stuff like this is probably going to happen more because there is a pretty large market in Asia that just hasn't really been, gotten to quite yet. And I see Monstercat making steps like these because while I see a lot of people wallowing in what was Monstercat, all I've seen so far is Monstercat thinking 4 steps ahead of what can they do next to continue growing. I'm gonna paraphrase this. I don't remember where I got this from. I'm pretty sure it was either in a Discord AMA or it was a Reddit AMA, but I remember Darlington repeatedly said that he wants Monstercat to become even more than just a music label. That in 10 years, if Monstercat is still solely releasing music, that he wants to quit. Monstercat has a very large future ahead of it. And it is sad and somewhat bittersweet to see that where it originated from, YouTube, seems to be slowly dying off. It isn't profitable anymore. If we're going to be talking about Call of the Wild, I don't see that streaming it on Twitch is as profitable as the millions of streams they get per month around the world on different radio stations. One of the radio stations I see referenced a lot is Sirius XM. I know Monstercat has been getting a ton of stuff there, whether it be individual artist features or getting Call of the Wild to have its own hourly show. Monstercat has been pushing out to a lot of different markets that I guess a lot of the community just doesn't quite see. It actually wouldn't surprise me if one day the Twitch stream just wasn't supported anymore because it's not as profitable or not as worth. But obviously, they started their whole thing on Twitch, and to suddenly take it away would kind of be seen as, not nice or not good. The final thing I wanted to talk about, and I'm realizing this is becoming a pretty long video, so I'm going to try to wrap it up as fast as I can. The collaborations that have been made this year with Rocket League, with Streamlabs, and with getting more shows worldwide. Monstercat isn't just a YouTube channel, it's not just a Spotify page, it's not just a Canadian label. It's a lot more than that, and they have been doing a lot when it comes to what we know, what we see, and a lot behind the scenes. What we're seeing, and I think has been the most evident so far with the removal of genre colors and with the branding split, is just Monstercat growing. Yes, there are growing pains, and yes, some people may or may not like it, but so far, I personally felt like a lot of this has been to the benefit of Monstercat. People come, people go, it happens. But so far, sometimes we just have to make sacrifices, and while they're sacrificing in one thing, they're definitely, doing amazingly in others. Apparently they have really big plans for 2019. I have absolutely no idea what to expect. So I'm rather optimistic and excited to see what's going to be happening going into the new year. But I guess aside from that, I don't have that much to say. I'm really hoping this video isn't that long, and I'm going to try to cut it down a lot because I've been recording for quite a while now. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Tomorrow is going to be the final Panda Talk of this week. How have you guys been feeling about this? I feel like I haven't actually been getting, that big of a view difference when it comes to whether or not I would have uploaded a mashup or a Panda Talk. But I can say that while this has been a bit stressful making and completely editing together 5 Panda Talks in sequence, I felt a lot more refreshed than if I had made 5 different mashups for this week. I'm still not exactly sure what exactly would be the most optimal content to upload to you guys, so I'm still kind of trying to figure that out, even though I've been doing YouTube for I guess a bit of a while now. But anyways, what do you guys think about this whole thing? Comment down below, where do you guys listen to Monstercat? What platform? And lastly, comment down below, do you prefer cats or dogs and why? Anyways, that's all for this video, and I'll see you guys in the last one. Bye!